Have you ever like knit cables and then wondered how you graft the cables together at the top to make it look right? I did with this vest project. And we're going to talk about that and some other fun stuff in this part 8 of the vest project video diary. I'm Susie Quillen. I'm the Empress of Yarn and your stitching coach here at Perfectly Naughty. And I'm so glad that you're here today. Thanks for joining in. I'm going to start off by reminding you to, do all the YouTubey things like subscribe and like and give. There's a little, I don't know where it shows up on your screen, but there's a little heart button where you can send thanks and you can send me the dollars so I can go buy a cup of coffee, whatever. So I'm really excited though to give you this update. It's been a minute since I gave an update. I wasn't feeling well for a couple of days and it kind of slowed my roll. But I made some really good progress on this and I have learned some things and I made some more notes about how I will do this when I do the version that's going to fit me. But let's start out by taking a look at where we're at. Here is the vest. The body is now done. Isn't this adorable? Here's the hood. I can put it on. It doesn't fit me. It's way too small for me. But you can watch me put it on. But it tells me a lot about things for making my size that are going to be really helpful. So there's the hood. There we go. And I love how the cable starts at the bottom and comes all the way up and goes around and meets right here at the seam. And we're going to talk about that. Don't skip out, okay? Don't skip out on me. But I'm really happy with it. So here are some of the things I'm observing so far. For my size, the armhole opening is only a 1/2 inch bigger than this armhole opening is. And I can tell that for me, I'm going to want that larger. So I will end up making on mine, the armhole opening, probably a full inch larger than what this is. That does change the number of stitches that you pick up along the outside edge, as does the fact, oh, my hair's falling down, as does the fact that I shortened. I did not want the side as long. Adding an inch at the armhole is going to overall lower the hem another inch, but that's going to be fine. So where you add and where you take away, you have to think about where that impacts your project in other areas. But I have changed the number of rows that are here in the torso on this project. I made it a little bit shorter in the body. And so that is going to change the number of stitches that I pick up going around. I have a snazzy little tool that I'm going to use for picking up stitches. I think you can still find these. They're not super common. This one is really old. I don't even know how old this is. I'm going to base my guess on the little drawing on here. I'm going to guess this is from the mid-40s. This is a knit pick tool. And what this is, and I love this for picking up stitches. It is a crochet hook on this end, and it is a Susan Bates. I don't have this in a boy style head, which I would prefer, but this is the one that I have. It is a little bit smaller, which is fine for picking up stitches because that keeps it from getting sloppy. It is often recommended to use one size smaller for picking up stitches and then knitting with the size that you want. So, but what I really like about this is this other end is a knitting needle tip. So I can pick up the stitches onto here, and then I can either knit them off of here, or in this case, because I'm going to be in the round, I can really easily just slide them off onto my circular knitting needle to do the armholes. Or in the case of the full all the way around, I can get my stitches picked up, and when the needle is full, I can slide it on. When this is full, I can slide the stitches onto my larger circular needle, and I feel like I'm a little bit more accurate with this crochet hook. And in part, that's because I'm a crocheter first before I'm a knitter. So some things are more intuitive for me as a crocheter. So finding the right spot and picking up the stitches with this is going to be, I think, easier for me. So I'm going to have to look on Amazon and see if I can find these and put them in the Amazon store. So you can go over and shop in my Amazon store. Go to perfectlyknotty.com/Amazon, and you can find all of my things that I don't carry in the store anymore, but I think are really helpful and important in your knitting and your crochet, and some favorite yarns that I think that are you can get that way. Please buy yarn from me. I have a lot of it. But if I don't have the one you're looking for, there you go. Go look those Amazon links. So there you go. So those are my kind of some of my thoughts that I need to adjust the armhole opening size for me, and the way that I'm going to pick up my stitches to do the edging on this. I'm really excited with the way this is working out overall, and it makes me really excited to finish this so that I can make my version and have it ready for when the weather gets colder in the fall, which it will. And by making a project like this over the summer, it's ready for me in the fall. Instead of waiting until I need it and then starting it, if I start ahead of time, anticipating that thing that I'm going to need when the weather turns cold, game changer, gets me ahead of the curve. I'm prepared. I will be prepared for the cold weather when it comes back, because it always comes back, you guys, even though we're only at the front edge of summer. So all of that. And then the other really lovely thing is finishing the hood. And let's see if I can fold this here. You can't see it on the camera, but I'm shedding everywhere. Okay, so here's the hood. I think that for mine, you do some decreases right here and just in this top 1.5 or 2 inches. I think I want to taper that I'm debating if I'm either going to taper that a little bit more so the back of the hood has a little bit more of a rounded shape, or I might just leave it straight and have it be a little bit more of that elfin pointy hood shape. I haven't decided yet. This fabric, because of the fiber type this has a lot more of its own structure. The yarn that I'm going to use for mine has a structure to it, but it's not as rigid as this is. And so I'm not quite sure what direction I want to go with that, but I was really happy with that. But the tricky part became, because the cables, you start the cables down here at the bottom and you're working them in parallel all the way up, and you have to join them at the top of the hood when you do the seam on the top of the hood, which is done with a 3 needle bind off. And what I did in my math is I figured out, okay, I need this join to happen on the 5th row between the cables. Since the twist happens on the 10th row, I needed to knit 4 rows, and I've got my 4 rows, and then I fold it in half, and then I work the join on that 5th row, and that made it line up really beautifully. It's really a beautiful join. You can still, because I haven't washed it or anything, you can see where the seam is there, but this will almost be invisible by the time I wash it and weave in my ends and everything. You're working it from the wrong side, so you have right sides together, and I just worked the takeoff the way that the stitches are. So if it's a knit stitch, I did a knit bind off. If it was purl, I did it in purl, and that shows up on the show side the way that you want it to. You can't see it really in here, but there were a couple of little experiments that I made because I noticed that when I did the join up with the purl, so I used a purl stitch on this side, it's like flawless. It almost looks like a Kitchener, which I also could have done. And I may very well choose on my project to use a Kitchener because it will be even less visible than this. So you are in charge of your knitting. You are empowered to choose how you want to do your knitting. And the more tools in your toolbox, the more skills and the more techniques that you have, the more that you get to choose how you want your stitching project to play out, how you want it to finish, techniques that you want to use. There were some things about the increases and the decreases in the side that I just liked the way from my ergonomics that it worked out for me. So I want to encourage you to do samples like this. Make a whole project that's a sample. Use up some of that stash yarn that's hiding out in a closet somewhere. Make the smallest version. If you're afraid to make a garment, choose something. Make the smallest version. Use a yarn that I call them inconsequential yarns, because they're yarns that with this, I felt comfortable putting in a lifeline and pulling things out and going back and stitching and pull it out and stitch it 2 or 3 or 4 times until I understood the impact different techniques were having. And I want you to have that confidence, and I want you to have those tools in your toolbox. And really the way that you get that is by just trying things, by experimenting and not being afraid. And by using an inconsequential yarn, you are going to lower that concern for trying things. And what if it doesn't work out? Well, if it doesn't work out for this, it's fine. If the yarn got a little bit worn for this, that's fine. This is going to my granddaughters who are young. They will wear it. They will love it. It will lay on the floor. It will get left on the playground. And it's okay. It's okay. Their mom's going to throw it in the washer and the dryer. It's okay. This is an acrylic yarn. I don't have an emotional attachment to it. And it's okay. I am also a believer in using the yarn that feels good for you to use. And in saying that, I also want to frame that and have you think about what makes you feel good. Is it what makes you feel good? What makes you feel good? Or what makes you feel good? in your fingers. And it's a combination of all of those things. It was not making me feel good in my head to use my cotton and yak yarn and pulling it out and fidgeting and fussing with it. That wasn't making me feel good. So I needed to find a yarn that made me feel good. This made me feel good to be able to experiment with stitches and pull it out and try over again. Does it feel the softest on my hands? No, not really. But I also didn't end up with any, sometimes some people will get like an abrasion with acrylic yarns. It wasn't like that for me at all either. So reframe some of your thinking. Sometimes don't be afraid to try. Okay. So next up is going to be picking up the stitches for the armholes and getting those done. And then the final step will be picking up the stitches that seam the pocket to the edge and go all the way around it. There's a button band that gets added in there, some buttonholes. I have to go dig around in my button stash over here and see what kind of a fun button I have. So when I get to that, I can make the right size buttonhole. That's my story. I hope you're loving this. I appreciate you following along. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Click that thanks button. Go check out perfectlyknotty.com/Amazon for some other knit and crochet items that are not available in the perfectlyknotty.com/shop online store. Thanks for being part of my audience and part of my world. Thanks for watching this video diary of the vest project, and we'll be moving on to the next parts, and I will be back when I'm back. So thanks. Have an awesome day.